Thank you for tuning in to Trinity Force Gaming Podcast, brought to you by the TFG community. My name is Pudgewiggle. I'm a leader founder over here at Trinity Force Gaming, or TFG. This is our second episode of podcast, and with me today is Kurt Pritchett.
What's going on, everybody? Like Pudge said, my name's Kurt, and I am the community leader for console gaming.
Yeah, console gaming, which is actually a new addition to our community, which is pretty awesome. Trinity Force Gaming community is a multi-gaming community, as we've mentioned before. All the links will be down in there in the YouTube and any kind of description. Links will be down there. So if anyone's interested in joining the community, we're always accepting new members. We do support quite a bit of games, and we can always support more if you're interested in taking over that division of whatever game may be. There's a process, of course. And really quick, I do want to give a shout out to one of my good friends, Strategos. He's the owner of Survive the Podcast. It's on YouTube. There will be a link in the description for that as well. Does a lot of great streams, does a lot of great videos. So I suggest you go check him out. He does a lot of Survive the Night stuff, which is a game we'll be going over in one of their future episodes. All right, so our first segment for today is games that we've played, not necessarily ones we've talked about in the past episode, but games we've played in general we want to just share. In this case, it is a game that we've talked about. In our first episode, we did talk about We Happy Few, and I got my hands on it like I said I would, and I've played it multiple times. Early access games, $30 on Steam, created by Compulsion Games, as you guys know. As far as the game goes, without it being super procedurally generated, there is a lot of random scenarios in that game that I really did like. So every time you play is, obviously it's going to be same to some extent, but you're going to be playing several times before it gets different. And there's a lot of different ways that you have to do things. There's 2 bridges that you have to get across, and each one's going to be different each time and what you have to do. Sometimes you got to get some kind of cell, a fusion cell or whatever, power cell. And then you got to get a pump for one of them, which is pretty cool. So you got to go around the area and not attract any attention, and basically getting those things to escape to the area where all the, happy people are, where all they're at. And that's where it kind of gets a little bit more difficult, because you have to basically hide in plain sight without taking your joy, or while taking your joy, which is actually kind of fun to do because it makes everything nice and pretty and rainbow-like and all that. Old ladies stomping in puddles, and they really got some good jump on them for being old ladies. So I guess the joy does wonders. But I am currently doing a Let's Play on it, and you'll see that on my channel. Again, there will be a link to my channel in the description for that. So if you're interested in seeing it, there is something there. Again, if I do caution any buyers who do want to play, it is early access, and I have already experienced that, it's early access, so stop complaining about it by getting one of my saves corrupted and having to get the plague, even though I wasn't even around any of the plague, stuff like that. So I've experienced that. Kurt, did you have any thoughts on We Happy Few before we move on?
Yeah, so I've watched Pudge's Let's Play on it, and it actually seems like something I would be pretty interested in. So I thought it was a cool idea, but it wasn't something I was really going to get into. But after watching him play, it seemed like it'd be really interesting to me. I really enjoy games that kind of make you think outside the box to get through puzzles, and I really like the idea of the joy kind of being a way to hide, but at the same time it also hurting you. So I was really interested to watch that, and I look forward to seeing more episodes.
Yeah, there's actually quite a bit you have to do on that first island too. It's not just get the power cell, get the valve, whatever the fix may be, and get out. You actually have to be careful what type of society you're around. And by society, I mean the wastrels, or I know there's a specific name for the people who are on Joy, but I can't think of what their names. Anyway, there's a lot you have to do. Like if you get the one where you have to get some honey, which was my first playthrough, that got corrupt. The save got that corrupt. You have to wear the padded suit so you don't get hurt by the bees. When you go into the area of the society where everyone's taking joy, you have to wear a good suit, a proper suit, I believe it's called, or else you'll have suspicion because it's all torn up, the one you start with. And obviously it's a nice, happy society where nothing's wrong, so you'll stick out like a sore thumb if you wear the messed up suit, the tattered or ripped suit, I believe. And the same goes for the wastrels. If you're wearing a proper suit in there, they're going to notice something because you're not a downer. And those are the people who don't take the joy. They're called downers. So you got to make sure what area you're walking into and if you're wearing the proper stuff and if you're on the Joy. And we did find out, unfortunately, that you do have to use the Joy at some point in the game. You can overdose on Joy. I tried it out today. Didn't record it, but I tried it out because I was getting back to my safe spot. You can overdose, and it's actually pretty bad because you pass out, you restart in your safe zone, and your health and your food, or not your health, I'm sorry, your food and your water drain significantly fast because you're in withdrawal from the Joy. So you got to be careful on how much you take. But there's a lot of places in the game that you can't access unless you have Joy. Not sure if there's a way around it yet. Again, they'll probably bring in some stuff like that. Kurt, what have you been playing recently?
So on my end, I've been playing Life is Strange by Don't Nod on console, my Xbox specifically. I was able to pick it up for $20 pre-owned. It's a episodic game, 5 parts. That $20 will get you the full 5 episodes. There's no extra DLC or anything, so that was really cool. I really felt like good value. To give a quick little synopsis of the game, it's a very story and narrative driven game. You play as a character called Max, who finds out through a series of events real fast that she has limited time control capabilities to just go back in time, maybe one conversation or so. And the entire game is just about your interaction with everyone around you. And I mean, everything from just who you talk to activities you do can change the way the game comes out drastically. I've really loved it. Very engaging, like I said. Yeah, if anybody's looking for a good story game to just kind of really get into and play through, hit you in the feels, definitely recommend it. Life is Strange.
I love games that hit you right in the feels. Kind of similar to not that I want to change the subject of the game, but the Walking Dead series that Telltale did. Those games hit you in the feels. So that's, if you've ever played that, I'm assuming it's got the same feels level as Life is Strange. I've never played Life is Strange, so I wouldn't really know.
Yeah, so like the Telltale games are real interesting because a lot of people know those. Imagine a Telltale game where you have more interaction and you have the ability to kind of see a limited version of the outcome of each of your decisions before you lock into it. But then, that decision might be rippling across, 3-4 episodes worth of content. To give you kind of an example, like I've had 2 buddies play it, and one of them, he tried to do everything he could to be really nice to this one person, and no matter what happened, the person still hated him. Like he just couldn't figure it out. And my other friend, he had talked to her like once, like seriously, like one time in the very beginning of the game, and just forgot about her. And then when he came back to her way later in the game, she was just super happy to see him, really liked him, So like it may not play out the way you really think it is going to, and that's what I really like about it. Is it's not one of those games where you can go, oh well, this is obviously the best answer, I should go with it. I mean, there's a lot of times you'll pick something and it just turns out to be a horrible thing, but it's too late to even go back and change it. I really like that about it.
Oh yeah, decision games are always fun because you're like, oh man, I wonder what the right choice is, and you feel like it's the right choice initially, and then you do it, you're like, wow, everything that could have went wrong in that choice went wrong, and there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm guessing in this case somebody dies or something like that, and obviously you can't really change that as much. But I don't know, maybe going back in time a little bit is maybe extremely beneficial to
Yes.
the decisions you make.
Yeah, so that's kind of like where the time travel comes in. So like, you can have a discussion with somebody, pick a decision, see how that plays out, and like once you're done with that conversation, Max will kind of like reflect on herself, like, oh, that went really well, or that went really bad, or what she thinks of it, and that's your only real chance to go, I didn't like that, go all the way back, do it again, and get a different outcome. But I've tried it 2 or 3 different times, like where you have like 4 or 5 choices to make even. And I've tried all the combinations, and every time you come out of it, I really like that Max as a character is always kind of like unsure of that. So like it makes you doubt it no matter what you pick to some extent because there's no real clues or cues that you've picked the right option. Like it's very what you felt was right. And the game isn't so much about time travel and controlling others as it is kind of about exerting your own will on the scenario around you as that character.
Oh well, if you're interested in games like that, then I guess Life is Strange sounds like that kind of game, and for a pretty decent price too. $20 is not bad at all. Most full games that have an interesting story, a full nice story, are usually your typical $59.99.
Yeah, like I said, $20 pre-owned. I found that at a local GameStop. I don't even think it's that expensive new. I think it was like 30 or 40 new. And I've caught it multiple times on Steam where every episode will be on sale for pretty cheap too. So just keep your eyes out if you're looking for it.
All right, awesome. And so our next segment is going to be our first game that we usually talk about.
Yeah, so our first game today is going to talk about Skyrim Remaster. So I'm not really going to talk about what Skyrim is because a lot of us know that already. I'm going to talk about more what this remaster is going to do for it because there's definitely some questions about it. I did some digging. I found some really cool information I think everybody's going to be happy to hear about. At the end, I'm also going to give you kind of a console perspective from it because I play Skyrim on both PC and console. So just to kind of kick it off, Skyrim Remastered is going to come out October 28th of 2016. It is an entire remaster of the original game using the new creation engine from Fallout 4. And the idea is to just bring Skyrim forward to the next generation, and it's going to be a huge upgrade in graphics and capabilities. The big thing that's really cool about this is if you buy the game brand new, you get all the upgrades and everything that's coming with it, and you get all the DLC with it also. And that's going to be mostly for your Xbox One players, your PS4 players. If you've got it on PC, again, if you just buy it, you get all that stuff for free. But if you already own Skyrim, you've ever bought it at any point, you're going to get that upgrade for free. It's just no questions asked. It's just going to pop up on Steam. You're going to download the update and you get it. Your saves transfer, everything's going to be great about it. So that's really cool. The thing I want to talk about with this is going to be the new mod section. So, like I said, they're upgrading the mod section also. So, what's going to happen is older mods that were made on 32-bit are going to be upgraded to the 64-bit when it happens, but that's not going to be automatic. So the way it works is if you've got an old mod, like the creator of that mod has it, for the old 32 system, all they've got to do is download the new creation kit, open their mod into the new creation kit, save that mod, and then upload it to Bethesda.net. And then that's it. It's done. It's good to go. But there is an exception about that. Any mod that uses script extenders will have to be reworked from the ground up again. So like that's going to be you're really heavy in mods. They are going to have to be retooled and reworked like that. So something I usually use as an example here is so for example like Better Armor and the basic overhaul mod that are really popular on the Nexus, those are going to work just fine. But your big script extenders where are going to like change whole new characters to the games and stuff like that that are really fine detailed things. Those on the other hand are going to require a retool, so those aren't going to work right off the bat. So that'll be something to kind of keep in mind as you're playing Skyrim. Maybe when you come up on this, maybe make another save file and uninstall some of your script mods and play it that way just to see how it's going to look. Pudge, what are you thinking about this, coming forward?
Well, actually, one thing that you just mentioned, I didn't even know. I didn't know that if you own Skyrim, you get you said you get the remastered version for free, right? I heard that correct?
Yeah, if you own Skyrim on the PC, you'll get the free game when it comes out, or the free remastered version. Sorry.
That's something I didn't know, and that's awesome. That actually changes my perspective on buying it because I thought you had to. I thought it was kind of like what Call of Duty did, where you get the old. I think it was called what Call of Duty did they remaster? Modern Warfare. You had to buy like the $70 game just to get both of them. I thought it was like that. That's why I'm like, I'm not gonna buy it. Whatever. I didn't have Skyrim, but that's awesome that you get it for free because most companies aren't willing to give you a remastered game for free. That still costs resources and money on their end putting it into a new engine because I'm sure there's some things they got to fix scripting wise that's going to change that because the creation engine from whatever engine they used, I don't know the name of it, it's probably a different version of the creation engine, is huge. And if the modders are going to have to change some simple things script wise from the ground up, think about what they have to change as a whole. That's insane. So that's pretty cool that we'll be getting it for free. I don't even have to worry about that now.
Yeah, so in interviews, what they've said is this new creation kit, by going to the 64-bit version, it's going to just create everything and make it more powerful. So, anyone who's played Skyrim on the PC and looked at some mods can already tell that's a lot of changes that can happen. They're just cranking that up to 11 now is what they're going to do. So, it's just the sky is now literally the limits as far as mods go. And what I said really cool is this is coming to Xbox One and PS4, and mod support will be on both of those as well. It'll probably turn out kind of like Fallout was, where mod support comes to the Xbox first and comes to the PlayStation 4 later. And that's not an exclusive deal or anything, really. It's more of about how the games are made now. Windows is doing what's called the unified platform, so anything that's made for a Windows game ports very easily to the Xbox, so it just makes mods that much easier to port over, and that's really that reason why you're going to see that first. I'm going to let Pudge do any kind of like real quick thoughts here before I go into my monologue about how this is going to be a big deal for console gamers, though.
It's gonna be a huge monologue, but really quick for anyone who's interested in an idea of what this is gonna look like. Because when I first heard Skyrim Remaster, I'm like, oh, whatever, it's gonna get an engine upgrade. I already have that. I had the mod for it. Well, if you guys remember when you first saw Fallout 4 at E3, how amazing it looked. Like people saw it and they're like, holy crap, the creation engine is beautiful. The sleekness of the vault suit, everything. Imagine that, but in Skyrim. That's going to be phenomenal looking, and that just sounds super exciting to me. The look of it, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely super excited to see what happens. People have already made amazing strides in the modding community with Skyrim as it is. So when they get this, just this big upgrade, I'm super excited to see how they're going to take that and just run with it. I mean, I want my entire world to be full of, Randy Savage, Macho Man, just screaming dragons, Thomas the Train, werewolves, just everything happening all at once. And the new mod set should make that even more compatible and run even smoother now.
Yeah, Thomas the Tank is going to look as great as it's ever going to look, right? In a video game.
Exactly. Um, so what I kind of want to throw here also is the console side of this. So like I said, it's coming out for PS4 and Xbox One, and it's going to have mod support. So just coming out for it isn't a big deal. I mean, that's just going to be basically, bring the old game forward. You're going to have it. It's great to go. Boom, 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 play it. Unfortunately, as it stands now, your saves will not transfer from the old systems. PC saves should transfer, but like Xbox 360, PS3 saves as of now are not going to transfer, but you could definitely, that might happen, that might change. I don't know. I'll keep my eyes open for that and let you guys know if I get an update on that. But what I want to talk about is the new mods that are going to come out for it. So I can use a really cool example here. Fallout 4 is a great one. So it came out. I played Fallout 4 so much. Like I beat the pants off of that game. I really did, and I got bored with it. And so, like, I got my $60 out of it, but it was just kind of sitting there collecting dust then. And I moved, got my internet back up and going, boom, mod supports. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll see what I can find. Some new guns, some new textures. Next thing I know, I'm doing a complete overhaul of my landscape. I mean, the game literally became a brand new game again. And I wouldn't have had that without mods. And I just really, really loved that. That I paid $60 for this game, and now I have access to Steam mods. I have access to the modding community, anything that comes up on there. I mean, that came out a month ago, and they're still just non-stop every day, mods, 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 and it's super easy. I would dare say it's easier to mod on a console than it is to mod on PC actually, because all it is you pull the menu up, you just scroll through them. Oh, I want this mod. You click on the mod, and literally you just click download. As soon as it's done downloading, it automatically installs, and you're done. That was it. The only thing I've ever had to change was my load order for a piece of clothing mod, and even then, it worked beforehand. It just occasionally got really weird looking. And I mean, it was just amazing. So I'm super excited about that. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen on that end. I'm super stoked to talk about anybody console wise with that. Unfortunately, looks like there'll be no script extender, just like Fallout 4 had for console mods, which was kind of unfortunate, but that just means, your real big, super detailed, thorough games aren't going to get a mod on there. But, I mean, you can still just find endless amounts of them on there. So I'm really excited to see it's going to come there, and I cannot wait. And I might even buy Skyrim again for my Xbox just to play that mod set by itself.
Wow. Actually, I did want to mention, doing mods on the PC is not as difficult as it sounds. It's literally going into the workshop, or in this case, similar to the download section for console, and then subscribing to that specific mod, and then automatically downloading through on Steam. At least I'm talking about, which is where most of the workshop comes from. So it's actually not as difficult. Probably is difficult when there's errors because you got to go unsubscribe, resubscribe. Yeah, but I mean, I would think that would be as similar to something as simple as changing the load order like you had to do. So it's actually not as difficult to get a mod on the PC as it was, at least back in the day, where you had to make a new folder inside of the game directory file and then name it something, place the mod in there, re-download the game, stuff like that. It's not as annoying anymore.
Fair enough, Page. My bad about that. I should clarify that. When I say downloading is easier, I refer to Nexus mods at this point and manual installation of mods. I apologize for that. Yeah, Steam is just a one-click, you're done kind of thing. I'm talking more about the Nexus mods because sometimes those can get a little hairy. But either way, the big point here is it's just super easy. It's very streamlined. And as a console player, I really did appreciate that because A lot of times console people, they actually, funny enough, console players on average tend to be late 20s to mid 30s, actually, as far as studies show. I know it's crazy. It's not all 12-year-olds screaming each other in Call of Duty. It blows my mind too, guys. It really does. Uh, but what the big thing with that is, those people have jobs, they have families, they don't have, 4 or 5 hours to figure out why a mod doesn't work. It's just so much more convenient this way because they can just go in, oh, I want that, click it, boom, they're done. So that was kind of where I meant to go there. I apologize. I wasn't trying to point out anything being horrible or less quality. It was just more of a, this is super easy and maybe even easier in this case.
Oh, well, yeah, when you put it that way, Nexus mods on the PC can be quite a hassle. Most of them are simple, but some of them are pretty, I wouldn't say annoying because it's not annoying, but time consuming. You got to be picky with where you put it, stuff like that. So, you know what, I get what you mean, yeah.
That was kind of my speech there, my little monologue for new Skyrim. Pudge, if you've got anything you want to throw in there with that,
other than me being able to get basically a new game for free, I'm I'm okay with that. I mean, actually, you did mention that you might have to restart, or you will have to restart on console, right? Because of the saves not being able to transfer over.
Yeah, as it stands now, it looks like saves will not transfer from the old console sets because this is not a backwards compatibility kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a whole new game. So it looks like they're not going to transfer. They might, but as of now, at the time of recording, it is not going to transfer on console. But with PC players, Todd Howard himself has said that it should be as easy as when you update, you should just start the game and your save file should be right there. I have questions about how it's going to work as far as mods go, because theoretically, if you do it on day one before all your mods get updated, they're not going to work. So you're going to load a game that you could be pretty far into with mods, and they may not be there. So that'll be interesting. We might be doomed to play vanilla for like a week before some mods get out there, guys. So be prepared for that.
Skyrim is actually a very fun game to restart, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't mind losing my save on Skyrim, honestly, because I can do it all again. I can do it in a different, cooler way and still end up where I was, or even better than that. So it's not even like a bad thing that they're making you restart. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean that's half the fun with Skyrim for me is just playing till I play. I'm like, I want to try something different. I just play a whole new character, a whole new race, see what the game does different. I can't tell you how many times I've started over just to goof off and kill everybody I can find, just so it doesn't ruin my main game. So yeah, it's definitely fun to start over. I'm not upset either way. I mean, they could have told me my saves weren't coming, and I'd be like, oh, that sucks. But I still would have definitely been super stoked to play the game again.
Okay, so Skyrim Remastered, if you guys looking forward to that, which obviously to both of us it sounds awesome. October 28th of this year, so you got literally 3 months, 2 days under 3 months to go for that, which is awesome. Right around Halloween, but I guess who's going to be going trick or treating now with Skyrim Remastered released? I mean, I'm not. So
well, I'm not gonna go just because I don't want to look weird, but yeah,
well,
I guess that too.
I'm not gonna lie, I went last year, so I wore a mask and everything. They definitely noticed I was older than I should have been. The guy was like, I opened the door and I'm like, oh, trick or treat, trying to sound like a kid. And the guy's like, dude, you have a beard. Get out of here. I'm like, just give me some candy, man. I walked here. So he's like, if my wife was here, she wouldn't give you candy, but I'm a nice guy. So here you go. And he gave me some candy, which was nice. But it's probably not going to work out this time.
I'll see. I stopped going because everybody in my neighborhood started judging me real bad. Like me and my friends would roll out. We're like 18, try and trick or treat. Running past kids to get to a door first, and then you get that really weird look. So we were like, maybe we should stop.
Yeah, it was fun for a while. That's true. Well, I mean, I guess the best excuse to go is if you have a nephew or a son. Oh, I'm here with my son. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's too afraid to get candy, so I'm gonna get it for him.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good reason. A way to do things, I should say. Anyway, back on topic. So the second game we're gonna be talking about, and this is the game I want to talk about. It's called Eco. I would bet less than half of the people listening or going to listen probably don't know about this game because it's one of those games that you just kind of find and you're like, oh, that's really awesome. Now, Eco was released November 25th of last year. Actually, I found out it was a lot longer than I thought. It got quite a bit of money on Kickstarter. That's where it kind of generated from. Strange Loop Games creates them. And the best way I can explain what Eco is it's an online game where players must collaborate to build a civilization in a world where everything they do affects the environment. All the resources come from a simulated ecosystem with thousands and thousands of plants and animals that are simulated 24/7. You can do it single player or with a friend. You can work through a player-run government and an economy to build the technology to stop a meteor that's on a collision course on the planet you're working on. And you have to do this without polluting the world and killing it off in the process before it even happens. So it's not just build this massive fort, because you got to keep in mind you're killing off the animals, the plants, everything before it happens. So you don't want to kill off the ecosystem and die out, basically. That's the main goal of the game. And it's a first-person game, and the best way I can explain how the gameplay is it's Minecraft on steroids, but more of a realistic thought. It's got that, that blocky type voxel look to it. It's not full-on voxels like Minecraft, but it's got that idea, the gravity, all that fun stuff in there. And as I heard, you told me before, Kurt, you've never heard of this game, right? Completely new to you?
Yeah, I actually had never heard about this game until Pudge here pointed out to me. So I did some quick, Google foo research on it. And the first thing that stuck out to me actually is the pollution effects. Like I've played Minecraft. That was cool. I enjoy Minecraft. It's one of my favorite games. But when you cut a tree down in Minecraft, that's it. You just cut a tree down. So what I really liked about this was, like, for example, in this, you cut a tree down, you've destroyed the land around it, kind of like you would be moving around, taking the parts from it and stuff. When you mine in this game, like, you actually have mining waste and pollution that can affect the water. And, like, you could visibly see that change. And I thought that was a really neat kind of, like, touch to it that I had never thought about. And I really like how this game kind of balances not only this threat of the meteor happening, so you have to work with everybody else to stop this meteor, everybody loses, but also at the same time it makes you be kind of conscious about it, so you have to be the most efficient and also give back to the planet for the resources you take from it. So it's kind of like two parts of the game that you're playing, and then that's compounded by people who may or may not want to play that way. So I really thought that was very interesting and a very unique twist to it. So I'm really happy for Pudge for putting this to me, and I'm definitely going to be one I'm going to keep my eye on.
Before we go any further into the game, I do want to mention it's like my favorite, early access. I love early access games because I like seeing the development over time. Yes, a lot of them fail, but also a lot of them start from nothing and become amazing things. As far as the price goes for the game, this is where people kind of get stopped. It's kind of like, whoa, that's too much money for an early access game. Most games generally about $19.99 to about max maybe $24.99. Early access, that is. This game is $40 base. It's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but
wow.
So far I've played probably about 6 to 7 hours on it, and I can definitely see myself playing a lot more. Yes, I've run into bugs, of course. But I mean, I wouldn't say I've gotten my $40 out of it just yet, but I can definitely see myself playing this game, 100 hours, 200 hours, something like that. The game has got a lot of stuff to it. A lot of things you can do, I should say, to it. What's really interesting about this game is most survival games you earn skill points, and you get to put them into trees and stuff like that. That's usually how it goes. In this case, the way you earn skill points is not completing quests or whatever it is. It's literally... It depends on how your diet is. And by that, you got to have the right type of nutrients in your body, like the levels of the stuff that you can have in your body that helps out how many skill points you earn per day is calories, nutrients, carbs, protein, vitamins, sodium, and fat. If you get a good bunch of those and you keep them in high levels and decent levels, like a certain percentage of each, 15% each or whatever it may be, however the math would work, the higher your skill point, the higher your gain, basically a skill point per day. That's how it's judged. It's judged on a percentage, like 121% per day. You get a skill point, you get to put it in something, you get to further your expansion. And going back to what you can do to ruin the place, by killing a lot of the animals, you can kind of screw up the ecosystem with that because they're not going to repopulate as fast as you're killing them, typical stuff. And the way to prevent stuff like that is, yes, conscientious action, by you not doing it. Or when you get to play with people online, which I'm hoping eventually I'll get there, you can actually become the mayor, or I guess I'll just call it the leader for now, the mayor, and you get to pass different kinds of laws. An example is you get to choose a drop down on the. It's all done on the website, and you get to pass. You only can kill X amount of elk per se for a certain amount of time. Like you can only kill 2 elk for a day, and just to kind of control the repopulation on them, so you're not killing them off completely, and not making them a. Can't think of the words. Something species. Can't think of what it is.
Endangered.
Yes, thank you. So you don't make that type of animal an endangered species and basically killing them off, because they're a great source of food because of meat, stuff like that, protein. It gives you the proteins, the vitamins, the carbs, and the nutrients you're looking for, obviously. So that's how the skill point system's done, and I love that about that. It's not many games do that. As far as I guess they call it digestion. We'll go with that. Every task you do in that game costs CPH, or calories per hour. So you kind of have to keep track of what you have in your stomach at the time, and if you have food on you. So if, cutting down a tree is going to be a lot more daunting than harvesting some berries per se. Not going to use as much there, but cutting down a tree costs 17. 17 is the type of thing. 17 CPH per swing. So you got to remember, you got to keep the berries, the proteins, all that stuff inside of your body so you don't basically die. One thing that Kurt did kind of mention was the logging or a tree felling system. One thing that kind of got me with this game was one of many things that got me caught in this game was the fact that you cut down a tree and it doesn't just disappear and give you logs, or it doesn't disappear and automatically separate itself into separate logs. You actually cut the specific sizes you want to pick up. I thought that was awesome. It's very small, but it's still cool. They literally just implemented vehicles into the game. I think like wheelbarrows, like small motorbikes, and then like these cars kind of. Which is really cool because you can actually make a legitimate society out of everything. Like paved roads, store, town hall, all that cool stuff. So you can actually, when you have, people in the server, which by the way, creating a server yourself is so easy, surprisingly enough. When you have your own server, you can actually have your own little environment and little community that works together, by trading things. You can have someone have as a trade, like a craftsman who creates chairs for a home, whatever it may be, and people can own different parts of different property on the world, and it'll tell you, you can't build here. So-and-so owns a property, and they can authorize to let you into the property to work on the property, use their different tools like their benches and stuff like that. So it's got a lot in the background than from what you guys are seeing as far as Minecraft goes. There's a lot that goes into it. After knowing that, Kurt, how does that sound?
Yeah, so I didn't know about the the skill system you were kind of talking about, and like the property ownership kind of thing. I kind of thought it would be generically like Minecraft, like you were saying, how you just go out and do stuff. There's no real skills. There's no real property. I especially like the law system with it that you mentioned, because I mean, if anybody's ever played on Minecraft like a server, yeah, you kind of like unspokenly hope no one comes in and wrecks your house and steals your stuff and lights it on fire. But there's no real way to stop them, and there's no punishment usually for that. Like it just happens, and you're out of luck. You got to go back, start over. So I really like that idea there of kind of like structuring the world, and I think it'd be interesting to see how that works. Maybe put laws against certain kind of like resource gathering to see if you could get to the end game still and stop the meteor without like maybe one of the resources you would need to have to get there normally. So I like the idea of it. I would need to look into more of the execution for like what happens when you break a law to really kind of be 100% committed on it. But I still really enjoy the idea of it either way.
Right, and that's one thing I'm definitely going to test out as far as me doing some videos. I am, as soon as I can break this, basically learning the fundamentals of the game, because I don't like getting into a game and then taking 3.5 hours to do it, because that's just a waste of editing time and resources on recording. But now that I have a full understanding, I can definitely do it. I wouldn't even say it's a let's play, because it's literally just crafting and building, kind of showing off the skills, showing off multiplayer when I get people to play with Kurt, maybe, or different people in general, just randoms. But randoms are always hard to play with when you're doing videos. So my initial thoughts, or I'm sorry, my final thoughts on the game is, like I said, I definitely see myself playing this game for 100 hours, maybe minimum. Super exciting. The team's always constantly working on updates. Yes, there's bugs, but it is early access. Is it worth the $40? From what I've played, I've only played twice for about 7 to 8 hours. I mean, like I said, I haven't gotten my $40 out of it yet, but I definitely see myself getting $60+ out of it later on, if that makes sense. So overall, I'm pretty darn excited to play with some people.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like something I'd be interested in. I don't know, $40 yet, kind of like you were saying there. I'm leery to throw that much money at early access because I have been burned on that before. I think quite a few of us have probably though.
Oh yeah.
I might wait until this hits Steam. Maybe see what they've got going from there when they get a little bit more together. Catch it on a weekend sale. Like I know when Ark was still early access, I caught that thing for like $10. That was a good buy. Ark for $10, you can definitely, that's justifiable. But yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye on it. So thank you again, Pudge, for introducing me to this game, and I look forward to any videos on this.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm excited to hopefully play if you decide to buy it. Speaking of weekend deals, guys, that's our next topic, and I think weekend deals is probably going to stick with us throughout all of our episodes. It's a nice little thing. Oh yeah, the weekend deal. I think that's something we're going to keep. This weekend deal that we found that we wanted to mention not only benefits us, but it does benefit the idea of our community as well. So, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege is one of our supported divisions. Or we have an esports team, ESL team with Siege. It's currently going on right now. They practice like every single day. It's awesome. What's special about it? Why is it a weekend deal? It's because it's 50% off right now at $24.99. It's a $60 game. Definitely worth it. I have over 300 hours in the game. To get a little background for people who don't know what it is, it's basically an elite team composed of members of the best special forces units from around the globe. You get to play as people from the British SAS, the American SWAT, the French GIGN, the German GSG-9, and the Russian Spetsnaz. Season 3, I do want to mention, is coming out soon, literally in 2 days. Operation Skull Rain takes place in the outskirts of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So every time they come out with a season, it's a different nationality of operators. Like, I think so far there's been the Canadian operators, the Special Forces, and then now the Brazilian operators. And this one's kind of based on stealth, and they also optimize the game tremendously, too, in a different way, so it's really cool. This one, they're basically focusing on health, and the operators are based on stealth. So that's kind of cool, if you're interested in that. Basically, you're trained to operate in tight formations, indoor environments, experts of close quarter combat, demolition, coordinated assaults, and this season 3 will be released, I believe, for season pass holders in August 2nd. Like I said, in 2 days. Season pass is $30. I think I got it on sale for $18. You get all of the DLC for free in the future a week before everyone else does. So if you don't own the season pass, don't worry, you get it a week after. But you'll see people playing with the new members a week early. That's because they have the season pass. I personally think it's awesome and worth it because, again, it's one of my favorite games. So that's something to keep an eye out for. $24.99 right now on Steam. It ends tomorrow, I think, at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So plenty of time to buy it, I believe. And if not, it's definitely worth the $60. Okay, on to our next section. Our third game. And Kurt's going to announce this one.
All right, guys. So for our third game today, we're going to talk about one that's coming out a little bit later in the, actually early next year, I guess. My bad there. It's called Halo Wars 2 from 343 Industries, who are now taking over the Halo franchise, and Creative Assemblies, who have made the Total War games. Keep in mind that February 17th, 2017 is a soft release date as of now, so that could change, but let's hope it doesn't. So, real recap real fast. If anybody's interested from the original Halo Wars, once the storyline was finished, the crew of the Spirit of Fire went into cryosleep and drifted because they had to get rid of their, basically their warp drive, their faster than light drive. So they weren't able to get back home. So they're just drifted. So this game picks up 28 years after. The Spirit of Fire has drifted to what is now called the Ark, which is a big thing in the Halo universe. It's a very key center point for anybody who keeps up with the games and their lore. This takes place probably early Halo 2, midway through Halo 2, realistically. I wasn't able to get an exact date nailed out, but it's probably right around there because the Ark is still around, and that gets destroyed in 3, obviously. The new enemy faction is someone called the Banished. So this is a group of Covenant that have been exiled from the Covenant, and then they have banded together and have formed their own faction. And they don't necessarily fight against humans; they fight against everyone. So not only the Covenant, the humans, but also the other races they come across. They're led by a brute called Atrox. I believe I'm saying his name correctly, Atrox, I believe. So everybody knows the brutes. They're big, they're tough, they're strong. But Atrox is very special in the fact that he is not only all those things, and even more so than most brutes, but he's also cunning and very tactical. And he is the leader of the Banished, and they're all very aggressive. They're all about brute force. They're about being in your face. So anybody who plays Halo Wars, it's an RTS strategy game using the Command and Conquer style. You got the wheel and everything. So it's looking really cool there. I'm really excited about that. Halo Wars 1 had a great storyline and great multiplayer activities. And Halo Wars 2 looks like it's shaping up to be excellent as well. Just to give you kind of a taste of some new things coming. So there's some new units. For the humans in the UNSC, they have the new sniper unit. It's an anti-infantry stealth unit, actually. So they're going to be able to, stealth, run around areas. You could use them as scouts potentially also, and then they're going to probably be able to one-shot most low-tier infantry units, and I imagine they'll be really good against hero units, kind of like the brute chieftains, your Spartans, that kind of stuff. I imagine they'll be really effective against them. They also get another one called the Cyclops. It's an anti-vehicle mech. So it's actually just like a mech running around. It's all about destroying vehicles and stuff, and that'll be real interesting. I also think just new units, new vehicles, everything's always great with RTS. It's what we want. Going over to the Banished side, they have a completely different look for covered vehicles overall. Like, that's your big thing first off. They focus very much so around the brutes running around with their squads as opposed to elites. And it also has a full section of brute squads and elite squads. So there's a lot more variety there. Some of the ones you're looking at is called the Jump Pack Brutes. So they're kind of like the Jump Pack Brutes original, but these guys are all going to be rocking Gravity Hammers, which is the devastating melee weapon of area of effect abilities that was introduced in Halo 2 and everybody loves. Another great one is called the Reaver Anti-Air Mech. It is kind of like a AT-AT from Star Wars with just missile pods over the back of it, and I imagine it will just shred anything that's in the air. And that's just to name a few of them. Like I was saying with the original, it's going to have the single-player storyline, which will be great because it is also canon technically, and everybody's been wondering what happened to the Spirit of Fire since it drifted off into no unknown spaces. And they're also going to bring back the PvP settings, 1v1, 2v2 for sure. I haven't seen 3v3, but that was in the original, so I imagine it will come back. That's kind of my little brief overview of it. Pudge, what are you thinking about it?
Well, at first, obviously, initially I grew up with Halo games, as I talked about, so Halo games are always fun. I was never really big into any kind of strategy game, believe it or not. They were a huge turnoff for me. And then my brother got me into the first Halo Wars game, and I'm like, dang it, this is actually really fun. And the reason why is because building different types of units and being able to create a massive army, basically, without maxing out your total units, obviously, and being able to just destroy any of the Covenant in the way at the time, obviously. As far as obviously new squads and different classes are obviously going to be awesome. That stealth sniper team is going to be so helpful for scouting, so helpful. Being able to have mech warrior or mech type things. I mean, I would love to have them on my team to be able to just wipe out anything. Are they only anti-vehicle, or are they anti, like, people too?
So I imagine they'll be able to fight against anything in the game technically, but they're just listed as an anti-vehicle unit. I'm not sure if they're categorized as a vehicle unit or an infantry unit, but I know original Halo Wars used the rock, paper, scissors. So vehicles beat infantry, infantry beat air units, and air units beat vehicles. So that was kind of the little ways around. But obviously there are units in each of those that go against that. So, like, for example, there were anti-aircraft vehicles, that would destroy aircraft, so they wouldn't destroy them as fast. So just a new wrinkle to the set. They're also a good thing for units, by the way. They're going to have a third leader be introduced for the human side. We don't know that for sure yet, but we're thinking it's the new AI. I don't remember her name right off the bat, but she's not like a combat AI like we see like Cortana and Serena. She's actually a logistical AI, so she's all about moving, supplies from here and there, and she's not a combat unit at all, actually. So it'll be real interesting to see what her new power is. I'm very interested to see that, and she will replace Forge, obviously, as that person there. We know Aatrox will obviously be a leader for the Banished. We don't know about the other units yet. I haven't seen anybody with that. I unfortunately did not get into the closed beta But from what I saw, just from some videos I've seen, I can only ever see Aatrox, but they will have two other heroes, obviously, in leader units. And just a side note, real fast, if anybody's really into sci-fi books and lore, I definitely recommend looking into the Halo universe as a whole. Bungie did a great job of setting that universe up originally and keeping their hands on everything that came out about it and making sure everything was canonical and it stayed within the timelines and everything made sense. And there's some really good sci-fi, honestly. I mean, very good. And they're still pretty new, so they're easier to find. Just wanted to give that little throw out there.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's interested in, I mean, the games would definitely make more sense if you knew the story behind Halo, which, I mean, why would you not want to be interested in the Halo storyline? Basically, it's an amazing storyline to begin with, even though I don't know nearly as much as Kurt does, but I still understand it's a pretty awesome storyline to get into because I know a little bit about it. As I said, I did grow up with it. The one thing I'm actually kind of excited for is being able to play the game multiplayer. And not necessarily against other people. I honestly liked playing against having a bot ally and then having two bot enemies. I enjoyed that for some reason because maybe it's because the AI were actually kind of smart in that game in the first Halo Wars. That's one of the things I'm most likely going to do is just play that game against bots or play it with a friend, us two facing two of the bots. That's probably the main thing I'm excited about. Obviously using the new classes and people, but being able to play against AI and feel like I'm actually good at the game. Some not really great strategy games, but
Yeah, I mean, with creative assembly behind it, like I said, the guys who make the Total War games, I mean, your bots are going to be dead on. I mean, they're going to be really high quality. They're going to know what you're doing. They're going to react to what you're doing. They're not just going to go, oh, well, I decide I'm going to do just vehicles this game and just bum rush you with vehicles like a lot of other games do. Because that gets really old. Like, that could be really annoying in some strategy games where they're just like constant stream of enemies of the exact same kind. It's really annoying. Halo Wars 1 did a great job at not doing that, like you said there, Pudge. And I can only imagine they'll nail it again. I mean, everything's there. They've recently released a storyline trailer. It's about 5 minutes. Definitely recommend it. I mean, the game just looks amazing, and it's all in-game footage also, like as far as graphical quality, at least for the cutscenes, and they just look absolutely stunning. I mean, they're not Uncharted 4, but I mean, they're up there definitely as far as one of the better looking things out right now.
Oh, we can definitely throw the link down in the description for that too. We can throw the link down there that I watched. The cinematic trailer is what you're talking about. We can throw that in the bottom there, the description.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's all I've got for Halo Wars 2. There's not a huge amount of information out just yet. Like I said, I didn't get to play that beta, so I didn't have too much firsthand with it, but it was amazing from what I hear. I'll definitely keep my eye on it, and if anything big comes out, I'll bring it back up later on. Pudge, you got anything else you want to throw at this one?
Other than me wanting to play against the AI so I can feel good about myself beating them, no. That's it.
All right. Well, I believe that's the end of that one there for us. So we're going to move on to our next segment for the day, which is 7 Days to Die, and Pudge is going to take this one away.
Yep, Kurt was right. 7 Days to Die. If you guys are zombie fans like myself, I'm very, 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 very big zombie fan. If you ever see my channels, that's all I talk about, and I do a lot of zombie games. Have not done videos in 7 Days to Die because it's so difficult to play single player. But really quick, zombie game already, as you know, created by the Fun Pimps. They both created it and everything, published it, all that fun stuff. The game released a while ago, actually, December 13th, 2013. It is on Steam right now for $24.99. Pretty expensive game for a game that's 3 years old, a little under 3 years old. The game did just release for console, both PS4 and Xbox One. They're not playing favorites or anything. And the description of 7 Days to Die, basically, it's refined the survival genre with an unrivaled crafting and world-building content set in a brutally unforgiving post-apocalyptic world overrun by the undead. I don't know why people avoid zombies, but they do. The word zombies. 7 Days to Die is an open-world game that is a unique combination of first-person shooter and survival. Now, this thing right here is completely true. It has redefined the survival genre, in my opinion. Yes, people are going to be like, well, H1Z1's the same. It's nothing like that. The game is definitely brutally unforgiving. There are a lot of different zombie types, and some of them will just piss you off when you're playing. Like the dogs, They will easily infect you, and they will easily make you bleed, and you need a bandage or else you'll die. And it's pretty quick at that point. So if you see the dogs, stay away from them because they're a pain in the ass. Yes, it's open world. They do have 2 different game modes that you can play. You can play in the original map called Navigaine. They increased the size. It's a huge map now. And aside from that, there is a game called Random Gen Mode, and it is an unlimited procedurally generated world that literally procedurally generates as you take a step into that certain sector. So it's going to generate, if it starts to generate a town initially, then the rest of that place that you discover is going to be a town or a city, whatever it may be. I have been in generated worlds that I just walk in deserts for an hour and a half. It just doesn't want to work with me. And I'll find a stream of water, follow the stream of water, it ends in nothing. I'm like, wow, this is extremely annoying. And annoying in the good way, like this is extremely brutal. There's different difficulties that you can choose from, tons of them. I always go with the easy one because the zombies are still OP in this game. It's not one of those games you can just run through and basically destroy all the zombies. Not until you have a weapon, at least. The crafting system is just beyond amazing. But you have to basically create everything you want. Bullets, you got to create the molds for the guns, the molds for the bullets. It's ridiculous. The crafting system goes into it. Like I said, you can play single player. It's fun for about 3 hours single player, but when you're playing with friends in a private server, a server that you created, which is generally easy to do, believe it or not, that's pretty fun. When you guys get to create your own little holdout, you guys get to go scavenge the military base that's in the top left corner of the Navigaine map, for anyone who wanted to know. Different biomes in the game. You could step into a snow biome, the desert, the regular forest area, which is where I personally like to set, myself up, because it's got the water, the nutrients to grow crops, stuff like that. Yes, you can grow crops, so you have an unlimited supply of food. But if you're in Navigaine, going to Deersville and then going, I believe, southwest a little bit is the farm. You don't even need to worry about food because it's got like so much corn in that place that can be regrown is ridiculous. You don't have to worry about food. Build up the house real nice, and people are thinking, okay, well, what do you do? You just survive X amount of days? There's a reason it's called 7 Days to Die. On every 7th day, so at the end of every week, to put it in perspective, there's a blood moon. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's a moon that's red. Blood moon, makes sense. And the most ferocious hordes of zombies come out at night at that time, and they know where you're at, so you cannot stealth from them, which you can originally. You can hide from the zombies at nighttime. They won't know you're there. But during the blood moon, they know where you're at, and they sprint, and they are ready to go. The screamers are there. The big zombies, they have a lot of health. They're just going to tear apart whatever defense you have. So you better make sure you have your defenses ready by day 7 and day 14 and so on, or else they are going to mess you up. Now, originally, there wasn't that many zombies. There was just your basic zombies: skinny male, skinny female, fat zombie, fat male. I believe there's a fat female now. I could be wrong, but there is a fat police zombie that spits acid. So what I was getting at, they're special zombies. Screamer's this tiny little, I don't know if it's a little girl. It's a tiny little thing. It kind of looks like Samara from The Ring, stuff like that, your typical creepy little girl. And she screeches really loud, the Screamer, that's her name. And she attracts zombies from all around. And what I found out is it kind of it doesn't pull zombies from the nearest area. It spawns them outside of the player's area. So you'll always have zombies that come after you once she starts screaming. So basic idea of her is to kill her as soon as possible, because she's going to be attracting 10 to 15 zombies every time, depending on your difficulty. Even if you're a higher difficulty, they'll be sprinting. She only comes out at night, so if she spots you during night, they're all going to be running at you. There is hordes of zombies that walk around during the day, and obviously nighttime too. But if you come across a day horde, they're going to be running too, because it's a special type of group of zombie, I should say. They're always going to be sprinting at you, and it's when you only have a melee weapon, you're not going to survive most of the time. What's really cool is they have like this little quest system, and it's basically by finding different notes that are around in the procedurally generated or created world, and you do different tasks, basically, like kill 7 bears, and the bears are OP as well, I'll say that, but in a good way, of course. They're zombie bears. They're ferocious enough, making them zombies even worse. Kill 7 bears, you get a nice XP reward. whatever. There's a whole clothing system, temperature clothing system, weight system as far as that. The different biomes require you to have different clothing on. So if you're in the colder biome, obviously you're going to want to have like, a duster, my favorite, stuff like that to keep yourself warm. That needs a little bit of tweaking in my opinion because your guy gets overheated way too fast. And by that I mean like he throws on a shirt, instantly he gets way too hot and you're like, I gotta take my shirt off, and then he gets way too cold. So they gotta kind of balance it out. But there is a nice balance by creating like fiber or cloth clothing, which you can do with, by destroying grass, whatever, you get plant fiber from it. You can create plant fiber armor. There is different types of armor, like metal armor, stuff like that. It's heavier. It gives you a great amount of protection, though, over the fact that you're probably overheating. And if you overheat, I believe you don't die necessarily. You kind of get these different effects like sunstroke, stuff like that, and your guy's slower. He has like a minus 25% to stamina. His stamina drains a little bit. There's a lot of different things that you can affect ways you can die from. Like there's dysentery, believe it or not, and that can be cured by drinking golden something tea. Golden, it's a flower, you can make it, or honey. Honey's great for health and stamina, and depending on how well you're fed and how high your health is. So if you have 100 for a long time and you keep yourself well fed, depending on how much your total amount goes up. So say I have like a lot of honey, a lot of food, a lot of water that's purified. It's not dirty water. Don't drink dirty water because you'll get dysentery. Your total amount will go up. So you'll have 110 health, 110 stamina total. And keeping that, your wellness up is what it's called. Keeping your wellness up will let you live a lot longer. And I've had characters that have gone all the way up to 130 health, 130 stamina. It takes time, but you just got to keep yourself well fed and make the right decisions when dealing with zombies. Because if you run for a long time and lose your stamina and you have low health, you'll lose your wellness, which nobody wants to have a 90 max health and a 90 max stamina. That's just super annoying. And what's great is if you die and say you put a bed down anywhere, you get to choose that as a respawn. Yeah, the stuff that was on your tool belt and the stuff that's in your inventory is going to be dropped. There is a backpack icon on the map where you can go back and retrieve your stuff, which is pretty awesome, so it's not totally a loss. But there is a way to play where it's just permadeath. You die, you restart completely. That's for like the hardcore players. I still am learning things about the game after so long of playing it. Anyway, so that's basically 7 Days to Die in a nutshell, believe it or not. Any thoughts, Kurt, on that?
Yeah. So like, to put it out, like I've heard of it before, but I've never played it. I like the idea overall, just like the survival and all that stuff. I'll go ahead and say it now. I'm not a huge zombie game fan, actually. I feel like it's a little bit of an overdone genre, and I'm burned out on them.
A lot of people think that way. That's all right, yeah.
But I always find that I still enjoy them as long as I'm playing with friends. It's one of those things like I could never play this by myself, but if I had a friend to play with, I'll play it. Like it's one of those things. I do like the 7 day thing. Like every 7 days, you kind of get attacked, no matter what happens. I really enjoy that. I played a game similar to it way back in the day. I don't remember what it was, but like every so often, a big horde of them would just like come after you. But if you just like went inside a building, shut a door in a closet, they would just like run around for like 2 minutes, couldn't find you and leave. So like it was kind of pointless. Or you just like dig a hole, like no matter what, you'd be fine. So I like that they know where you're at and they know to get to you. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Actually makes it kind of challenging to some extent. Um, I like the idea of the crafting system, depending on how much it takes. So a lot of problems I've had with like a lot of newer games crafting systems, it takes a lot of resources to get like nothing back. I think Arcs is a good example of this. Like it suffers from it. It's like the best one I can think of. It's like
yeah.
80 wood, 40 fiber, and like 10 stones, and you made one wall. Like it's just absurd how much you have to gather to do anything. So as long as the crafting system's pretty balanced both ways, I definitely would be okay with that. I like that. How you got to build everything, build your guns, and build your your bullets. I like that. I just want it to be doable, I guess would be a good word for it.
Oh, it's extremely doable as far as that, creating simple things. You're not taking a hood and being like, wow, I need 80 cloth to create a hood. No, it's like you need 8 plant fibers, which is you just break grass with your fists and you get 8 plant fibers. It's easy. It's really simple. That's like one of the first things you do. You get sticks, you make a weapon, you make a bow out of sticks, like that. Simple things. It's really easy as far as crafting. It does take a while to get into the weapons because there's a lot you need to make a mold. You need clay, then you need water and starch for that, and then to make like med kits you need like nitrate powder or something like that, and that also goes with gunpowder. You need gunpowder to make ammo to gunpowder and bullet casings. It's not just making a bullet, so it's really in depth, but it's really rewarding when you can finally get a gun. So shooting your gun's kind of like, man, I really don't want to do this because it took so much time to get it, but definitely, like I said, really rewarding. I would think.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds doable, and I like that. Like I said, I like doable resource outputs. So something I like was like on the seventh day you get attacked. I really like that. That was cool. I guess my question is like, so I know it's coming. Could I just go out to the middle of the field and just like put wooden blocks underneath me and just like jump my way up into the sky, kind of like you do in Skyrim or Minecraft sometimes, to like get up to higher places, and then just like build a box around myself? Would I be safe, or would they still be able to get me?
On day 7 at nighttime, when the blood moon is up, is what you're talking about, right? When the blood moon's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they know where you're at all the time, and they will be basically running at you nonstop until morning, until about 5:00 a.m. They stop running, and once you kill off those zombies, then the regular zombies will spawn. I mean, regular zombies spawn, but not the ravaged, running, full-on rage mode zombies will be spawning. But yeah, they will destroy you regardless. You gotta have. There is traps, spike traps, landmines. You got to be ready with weapons and everything you can do. If you have like a firing line, that would be even better. If you have like a melee line where you kind of like funnel them into one area. AI are kind of smart in that game. They know how to deteriorate your structure. So if you're in a house, they will start breaking down the structure below you. They will obviously attack you too, but they'll kind of destroy whatever's in their way. So if it's a block and it's a wooden block at that, they will kill you in a minute, 2 minutes. Depending on if you have a weapon to fight them off, they will destroy you on night 7.
All right, cool. I like that. I mean, I definitely want it to be, actually challenging. Some I want to be able to dig a hole and cover it back up while I'm inside it, and I'll be safe.
Right, yeah. I remember that's how you survived the first night of Minecraft. You dig a very small hole, 4x4, put a bed down, sleep, boom, morning. That's how you did Minecraft. But this one, there's no sleeping, and it's literally wait. You actually have to wait out the night. That is one thing I'm not entirely happy about, but it's more realistic than, it's kind of fair. You can choose how much time you have during the day. Like say you have a 24-hour cycle, obviously, and the amount of daylight, but the percentage of daylight and night is like 30. So you have 30% of night, 70% of day, but you have to wait out that nighttime in real time too. Real time is in the game, minutes like 10 seconds, but you got to wait out the actual nighttime. Like if it's a regular night, literally what I do is I turn out all the lights because they will find you. If you have lights, any kind of fire going or night or any kind of lights, if you're moving around, if you're kind of walking around, they'll hear you. I literally crouch in a corner, lock the door that I create, and just alt tab out and wait. Just do random stuff because you have to wait out the night, which is kind of crazy. And if you go out there, they will sprint and they will try to kill you, depending on where you're at. If you're basically in a remotely, like if you're off somewhere in the middle of nowhere, you'll get animals, but you're not going to get many zombies. You will get some zombies. Once, like I said, night 7 comes, they're going to spawn around you, and they know you're going to be there, so you got to be prepared for that. You're not going to be able to cheat that out at all. But any other night, yeah, you can just kind of wait, undetected, wait for night to be over, go out, kill the zombies when they're not sprinting, and then, continue on with your day of whatever you're doing.
All right, I like that actually. I mean, I want it to be, so at some point I am going to have to figure this out. So I really like that.
Right. And as far as like you're a console person, so like I said, it is on console, and there's literally one gripe I have about this game. And for console, they implemented it it's only been, like I said, it's only been there for a very short while, 2 months, maybe 3 months, maybe. But they're like, oh, by the way, you can play with a friend by playing in split screen mode. Yes, I get PC is not really generally created for split screen mode, but I love playing split screen mode on PC. One person has a controller. If I have friends that come over, hey, let's play a zombie game, that would be awesome. It's so much better than having to go through creating a server, opening up certain ports, making sure that the firewall is not destroying, you or your friend getting in. Yeah, so I really like the fact that console has split screen. It makes it so much easier, but they didn't add it on PC, and they said they're not going to, and that really pisses me off, because if they have the ability to do it already in console, porting it over to PC is not going to be that big of a problem. I mean, people port games over from console to PC and never do anything else about it. They're just like, yeah, port it over, it'll be fine. And you see like the little, like, oh, press A to do this when you're using a keyboard and mouse because they really didn't take the time to port it properly. It's possible, and I believe they can. It's just they don't have enough fans who want it. And unfortunately, I'm one of those diehard fans who really want it, but I'm one of the very few who want it. That's the one thing. It just bothers me about Fun Pimps not being able to do.
Well, Pudge, you know what that sounds like to me?
What?
Sounds like you just need to get on console.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Buy a console just for 7 days to die. Play split screen.
No joke, man. I before they finally announced it, I was actually going to buy a PlayStation 4 just to play Kingdom Hearts 3 because I've been waiting like 400 years for that game. But it's coming to Xbox, so that's super convenient. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, I mean, honestly, the game that I'm legitimately might buy a PS4 is Days Gone. If it doesn't go PC, I'm definitely getting a PS4 for that. That is in our list, by the way, people, of talking about it, so we're not going to go into depth about that, but we all know what that is. Well, we might not. It's a zombie game. I'll just let you know that. And it looks awesome. But we'll go into that another day. Don't want to ruin any things. So, my initial thoughts is I have 97, 98 hours on 7 Days to Die. And that's with just playing with friends. That's not single player. Single player is probably about another 20 to 30 hours on my own. So, definitely got my $24.99 out. It's still in early access. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that's a big thing. The game is still in early access, so they're literally an alpha update 17.6. The game has so much to go, so much farther to go. There's a system that they're adding that we've all been waiting for a long, long time, is that the ability to create a world, basically. I know I probably should have added this in before, but I didn't really think about it. Basically, what I'm guessing, perspective here, I guess, is choosing parameters that you want, like hard, easy, whatever mode, scavenger mode, whatever it may be. Being able to choose how many zombies you want to spawn at a time, all those little things, kind of like Project Zomboid. I got to add that to the list. We'll talk about that sometime too. And then basically your world's generated randomly based on what you selected as those parameters. That's going to be cool. I don't know when they're going to do it. Probably soon. They said in the next few updates, but who knows what that means. If they do 17.7, 17.8, it's going to take a while to do that. But the game's got a lot of updates coming. There's got to be a big one coming soon because they haven't updated the game since literally a month ago. 620 was the last update, and that's not normal for them. So they got something huge planned, which is awesome. Again, $24.99. An amazing deal for that. It's on sale sometimes too, so you might get it at a cheaper price, like $19.99, $16.99, whatever it may be at the time. Your final thoughts, Kurt?
Final thoughts for it. I mean, definitely sounds like something I would only really play if I had friends with it. That's just kind of me personally. If it came down to it, though, this sounds like something I would probably want to play on consoles, just because the way console servers and stuff are made up, you're almost always guaranteed to at least have somebody play with that way, even if you don't really know them for say. And it's just easier to get a hold of people that way. It's a little more streamlined, in my opinion, and just kind of a little more open. But that's just me. What about you?
Well, yeah, I'm always open to playing with people on PC, but it's hard to play these type of games with randoms. Like most games, it's hard to play with randoms because they're going to destroy your stuff, kill you, take whatever you can. So that's why I like to play private servers with friends. Anyway, our next and last topic is something Kurt's doing, something special. So I'll let Kurt go ahead and announce that.
Yeah, so to wrap it all up today, guys, I'm going to try and talk about some quick console things for you. Big updates here coming. So as you guys probably know, PlayStation VR is coming out later this year, and the Xbox S is coming out. I'm just going to give you some quick little details on those real fast, and then kind of at the end make my claim for why I think buying a console is actually a pretty good idea as opposed to just having a PC. So first big thing is PlayStation VR. Two packages. There's just the base version, which is $399.99. So that's $400 right there, and that just comes with the headset. That and the processing unit. That doesn't include anything else you would need to have extra. So most people do not have the PlayStation camera and the PlayStation Move controllers that you have to have. So that's why they have the next version. It's $100 more, so $500. It's called the Launch Bundle. Comes with the headset, the processing unit, 2 PlayStation Move controllers, and the camera, and you do have to have all of that to play, just to kind of get that out there, because there is some confusion on that still. So if you're interested in PlayStation VR, I definitely recommend just sucking it up, hitting that $500 bullet. And yeah, it sucks, but realistically, that's probably going to be one of the better VR systems that's going to come out at least this year. I know a couple are already out already, and they're doing some really cool stuff. But I am willing to say that that's going to be the biggest and probably the best one that's going to come out this year, just because Sony itself is throwing everything at it, and it's one of the giant three for the console market. So they're going to make sure it works, and that also guarantees you access to some really good games. The big one that always jumps out to me is the new Ace Combat. I think it's going to be amazing. It looks beautiful. Definitely something to check out. But yeah, so keep your eyes on those if you're interested. That comes out October 13th of this year. And then the new Xbox S that was announced at this most recent E3 actually comes out next month, pretty early, the 2nd. So, I mean, it's right around the corner, essentially. It's $400. So that is a little bit more of a step up from the regular $300 for an Xbox One. But the Xbox One S comes with the stronger console update for your hardware, so it's going to be up to date on that point. It's got a 2 terabyte internal hard drive installed automatically, which is a pretty significant uptick from the 500 gigs that it started with. And I can personally tell you that 500 gigs is enough for about 14 games, because you have to download and install every game. So it's a big deal there. I mean, you can put external hard drives on them, which you can't do on PlayStation, but still, it's just kind of a hassle, so it's nice to do that. And 4K streaming is also going to be part of it from things like Netflix and that kind of stuff. So that's also a super cool thing there. That is going to be, like I said, $400 to get that out. So that's a pretty nice thing to look forward to. Something I can tell you for sure as a former retail salesperson for these kind of things, with the new Xbox One S coming out and the new PSVR, that means price drops are going to happen this holiday season. So if you're interested in grabbing these this year, keep your eyes on them. Wait towards Black Friday. A lot of companies now, they don't do just Black Friday, they do like a week. So keep your eyes on this stuff. GameStop usually has some really good ones. Best Buy has some really good ones. Walmart every so often. But those are the two I normally check out. Amazon, if you like to order stuff online. I can tell you right now, the VR headsets and the Xbox One S will not have a price drop. They will still be full price, but the older Xbox consoles and regular PlayStation systems, like not the VR set, the actual system, are probably going to get a price drop for holidays. If they don't get a price drop, they get a new bundle set, which means it's still the same price, but they add more stuff to it. So it sounds kind of cheesy when you're like, oh, I paid $300 for my Xbox, I didn't save any money. But when you get 3 free games with it, I mean, those are $60 games each. That's $180 you just save right there. So keep your eyes on those if you're interested in grabbing one this year. It's definitely gonna be a good time to do it because they're gonna compete with one another. My reasons for bringing that up is, like I was gonna say there. So everybody says, PCs, they're amazing. We're all a big PC community fan here. It's great and all. And here's my reason why I always tell people to think about getting a console is really nice and really good. So something I like to use is just Halo, for example. So when Halo came out on the Xbox 360, that came out pretty early. That was a launch title. And the original Xbox 360, you could play Halo, and it was awesome. 10 years later, when games came out for the Xbox 360, the most recent Call of Duty that came out for it, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, it could still play on that original 360 from 10 years ago. So that's 10 years of hardware life. Whereas most people, realistically, for a PC, I mean, if you're wanting to keep up to date, play your games, ultra high every single time, that's a 2 to 3 year cycle. You're going to be putting money into it, and that's a lot of money you can throw into just RAM, cards, anything like that. So, I mean, let's see, with the Xbox, for example, you're going to spend $400, but that's a 10-year console right there. I mean, anything that comes out on that that says it's for the Xbox One is going to work on it. So that's a really economic investment. I always tell people that it's something to consider. If you don't want to worry about spending that money, if you're not sure, 3-4 years if you're going to have that money, $10 for that is going to be, here or there, it's whatever. You can save that up pretty fast. And a 10-year console cycle, that's pretty nice. A lot of people really like that. And as a console guy, I can definitely tell you, it's one of my favorite things about my console. I buy it, I don't have to add to it, I'm done. So that's my little blurb there. Gonna throw it back to Pudge if he's got anything to say, or if we're just gonna go from there.
Wow. I'm not gonna lie though, I am probably gonna go with. See, that's the problem though. Is I don't know what I want to do as far as if I want to do an Xbox or I want to do the PS4 or the new PlayStation, whatever, because of Days Gone. Are those games? This is gonna sound stupid, but not too much information on console on my end. But are the games backwards compatible with the new Xbox and the new PS4? Like, is Days Gone gonna work on the new PS4 and vice versa? Games that are on the new PS or the PlayStation, I'm sorry, the new PlayStation gonna work on the PS4 or no?
So as of now, they're saying that anything that comes out on the like, so say we'll use Uncharted 4 for example. Uncharted 4 came out for the PlayStation 4 now. Um, they're saying that any game that comes out post PlayStation Neo should still work with your regular PlayStation 4, and you should be able to play Uncharted 4 on your PlayStation Neo. What a lot of people are kind of considering here, the Xbox S and the PlayStation Neo, they're more or less just kind of updates to get ready for 4K. I think we're going to see the 4K shift happen probably within the next, I'd say, 3 to 4 years, maybe 5 at most. And they just kind of want to get ready for that. And then it's also just a hardware update, mostly storage. That's your really big thing there. They're not really increasing memory too much because that would kind of segment your market. So anything that says Xbox One or PS4 on it will play on any Xbox One or PS4, regardless of it being Xbox One, Xbox One S, or PS4, or PS4 Neo. They don't tend to do that much. The only company I can think of that actually has ever segmented their market like that is Nintendo with the new 3DS. They're starting to release games exclusively for that, and it won't work on an older 3DS. So I think you'll be good there. More likely, they would just release a new console if that was going to be the thing. As far as actual backwards compatibility goes, Xbox is the only console right now that is doing backwards compatibility of the new generation. Mind you, that's about 200 games, give or take, but that list is constantly growing, and those are just honestly just straight in. I mean, you just put the game in, it works, or if you bought it before, you get it again. PlayStation doesn't do backwards compatible. They have a service. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's PlayStation Now. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But basically, you pay a service for it every year, and then you also pay to rent old classic games for X amount of time. So it's like double pay, and a lot of people don't really like that. I haven't heard too many people that use it. Um, but yeah, any game that comes out for Xbox One or PS4 will play on whichever system, regardless what you get, as far as moving forward. So I wouldn't worry about that too much.
That system, the PlayStation has, kind of sounds kind of shitty. Like having to pay and then pay extra to rent the game. I know, I mean, Xbox Live, as you know, if you're an Xbox Live member, you get a free game every month, and some of the games are like legitimate games. So, like, I know one month they did The Long Dark, and that game's not even fully released yet. So, you guys will probably be getting the actual release for that game free at some point.
Yeah, actually, this month, earlier this month, Banner Saga 2 was our free game. And that game came out like a month and a half ago. I mean, that's a full $30 game. Got it for free just because I had Xbox Live. Super nice to have. Which reminds me, thanks for bringing that up, Pudge.
You're welcome.
For anybody looking to get in that console market, the online part of that is pretty big now. So I do recommend buying that if you're wanting to do anything with it. Even if you're not playing online, spending $60 a year for Xbox Live, you're estimated to get about $500 worth of free content if you choose to get it. PlayStation is $50 a year, and they're estimating about $800 right there. So, I mean, it pays itself off. If you're looking to do that, though, the absolute best time to do it is to buy a year subscription on Black Friday and then wait like 3-4 days and put it in. And what that does is you get 1 year right there, and right about that same time next year, it'll tell you, hey, you've got 1 month left, you've got 1 week left, and you'll go, oh, I need to buy some more. Oh, Black Friday's coming, I can buy it on sale again because they always knock it down $10-15 for each. It's the best time to do it. That's a pro tip right there. GameStop little inside trade right there. They
Ooh,
always tell us not to do that, but it was the best way to buy it, and I always recommend it to people.
now it's out there. So, you recommend as far as is making your money's worth on buying online? You said the PlayStation is the way to go with that, or was it the Xbox?
Yeah, so as far as like free content, pure like put a dollar to it, PlayStation did win last year just because Xbox didn't start it at the beginning of the year. They started a little few months in, so it's hard to say what a full year would look like. But generally, you're looking anywhere between $800 give or take between free games and discounted prices on games. And Xbox does that same thing where every month you get free games and you also get uh, kind of like discounts on games or discounts on season passes. Season passes have been really big this year. For example, Battlefield 4 for the last like 2 months, its whole season pass has been on sale for like $4, and that was a $30-$40 season pass when it came out, depending on which version you were buying. So it's a pretty big saving. And the thing with Xbox also is their backwards compatible games that they give out. Anytime they announce those are always going to be free games for that upcoming month. So like for the month of May, right before they announced that Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2 was going to be a backwards compatible game, and everybody got it for free. So you just went and downloaded it, and even if you don't keep it on your system, you own it at that point, so you can go download it at any time, and it's super nice.
That is extremely helpful and reliable, actually. Because especially if you don't have the time to download it right away, you still have the rights to have that game legally. It's really nice.
Yeah, and that works the same way on PlayStation also. I mean, once you've claimed a game, it's tied to your PlayStation account. You always have access to that game whenever you re-download it. So that's kind of the nice shift to digital that we're going to see coming up also within the next, I'd say, 4 to 5 years, is your account is going to become a lot more of a bigger deal. Because what that's going to happen is everything's going to be tied to that kind of, so like every game you play is going to be tied to your account. And if you decide you have 400 games to your account, well, obviously you can't download 400 games on your PlayStation or your Xbox. So you're going to have like, 20, 30 games, and you're going, oh, you know what? I want to play, I don't know, Call of Duty again. I haven't played that in a while. You're just going to go in, get rid of one of these games, and it just disappears from your console storage, but you still own the rights to it. And then you just download something in its place. And so I think that's going to be a big shift we're going to see. And I think as far as these storage capacities go, so like the Xbox S, it's getting 2 terabytes. PlayStation 4s right now only have 400 gigabytes. I don't know if the Neo is going to up that. I imagine it will, but I haven't seen anything yet. But I think we're going to see those storage capacities only go up from there.
Well, all right. Sounds like some nice projections. I hope that they follow through with that. Unless that's not projected ideas, that that's what they say is going to happen, then yeah, console sounds like something that would be a nice backup. Maybe not even a backup, maybe, a secondary main, if that even makes sense.
Yeah, no, like definitely. And I mean, there are certain games that I think honestly are a little bit better on consoles. So like the example we talked about Skyrim earlier. So I know a lot of people play Skyrim PC, mouse, keyboard, and they play it that way. I can tell you, I literally cannot play Skyrim with a mouse and keyboard. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. I get lost every single time. I just can't do it. I have to plug in my controller and play. Overwatch is another great example. I can play with a mouse and keyboard. I'm not as good though when I play with a controller. I just feel like I'm better. I know it's going to be pretty divisive to some people because it's the always have more accuracy that way, but I just can't do it. Like there are certain games I gotta have a controller for, and those are some of them. And I really enjoy having just this is it. This is all I need. Let's get up and go. It's really nice.
I agree with you. There's a lot of people and there are a lot of games that have that, but I honestly know a better game is an example that is like that. There's no way in hell that I know anyone that I know, unless they're trying to show off, is going to play Dark Souls, any of the Dark Souls, with a keyboard and mouse. It is impossible, and you will not be able to do it. I hate it so much. That is a game I always play with a controller, and I've tried using a keyboard and mouse, and I just lose my souls all the time. I can't do it. I don't know anyone who can do it. I don't know anyone who wants to do it. That is just that game. They even tell you when you buy it, this game is highly recommended that you use a controller of some kind.
Well, Pudge, funny you should mention that because I believe quite literally a few weeks ago, there's some dude who beat Dark Souls 3 with a dance pad from DDR, which made me feel even worse about playing Dark Souls. So I guess that's something.
Yeah, that's like I said, either you're crazy or you're trying to show off. So both of those can go hand in hand with each other.
But no, I do agree. It's a controller game. I couldn't imagine playing that on a keyboard and mouse. I would just get lost. But hey, that's just my personal thing there. There are some games I prefer a keyboard mouse though, like StarCraft. I couldn't imagine playing that with a controller. It's kind of a pain to play stuff like that. Halo Wars is going to be an RTS, obviously, but it's designed to work with a controller, so it's a little different. I think most games don't keep that in mind sometimes. It's just one or the other. But yeah, that's kind of my spiel there for my claim for consoles, if you will, as the console community leader. So I'm going to throw it back to Pudge.
Actually, I do have something to add onto that as far as the keyboard, mouse, and controller go. As I was going to say, gaming pad. That just sounds weird. Another game that works like in a backwards scenario with that is if you try to do Arma 3 with a controller, you are insane because there's not enough buttons on the controller to fully and legitimately play Arma 3. You need a very large amount or percentage of the keyboard to use on Arma 3. I don't know if you ever played Arma 3. There's a lot of buttons you need. Like the whole number pad does something in Arma 3. Alt does something in Arma 3. There's no way you're going to be able to map Arma 3 controls using a controller and be able to play it legitimately. You'll get your basic walk, forward, backward, left, right, maybe get inventory in there, shooting, grenades, your basic FPS Call of Duty type controls, but you're not going to get any of the extra stuff in there, like being able to crouch, prone, and then do the really cool advanced positions for proning and crouch. That's one game you just don't do with a controller because it's legitimately impossible to map 120 buttons to a controller that has 15.
Yeah, give or take, but yeah, it's a great example. So I mean, like, there are just some games that lend themselves better to a console and controllers, and some games that just lend themselves better to the keyboard mouse style. So I think something's there. Side note: they are in the process of working on an update for Xbox Ones that will allow you to play on a keyboard and mouse for any game that you have on your Xbox One. And they've also even stated that the Xbox will detect what you're playing with and will put you into lobbies with people who are playing with similar things. So you don't have to worry about cross chat there and people fighting over who's using what. So I thought that was pretty cool too. Something to consider again if you're a PC guy. Boom, right there's that. If you're running Windows 10, I can tell you from personal experience that the Xbox One and Windows 10 work seamlessly together, and it is a great experience. If your family's in the other room using the computer or the TV and you can't play on your Xbox, you just boot up your computer, pull your Xbox up, and you're good to go. Nothing get lost.
I actually did hear about that, and I thought that was pretty cool that they're basically, it's like welcoming it's like, hey, everyone's a gamer, which is my thought exactly. If you play PC, you play console, awesome, whatever, I don't care, you're a gamer, we have something to talk about. I think that's great that they're like, hey, we're on console, but you guys can use a control, a mouse and keyboard if you want. And that actually did remind me of something. I'm pretty sure I heard this. Maybe you can confirm or deny it. Anyone who owns Windows 10, I'm pretty sure gets a free Halo game at some point. Maybe I heard that. Sounds too good to be true, but I'm pretty sure I did hear that somewhere a while ago. Does that sound like something?
I know right when Windows 10 came out, they put into the Halo Spartan Assault game. But I don't remember if you got the full thing for free or not. I just know it was a big push that they were pushing with it. I don't have it, if that gives you any indication, so I don't know. But yeah, so something to consider right there. That's another good thing. I mean, as the Xbox becomes more and more like Windows 10 PCs, that's just going to get more and more seamless. And it would not surprise me if eventually Microsoft pulled some kind of system where you'll be able to get the games, through some kind of like weird Xbox app on the your Windows 10 device separate from the Xbox app already there. So like maybe they're going to give out classic Microsoft games that they own, part of the Windows unified platform, which is another discussion of itself. But as that becomes closer and closer to, I can only see Microsoft incorporating one another more and more. So I think we're going to see that line definitely blur for PC to Xbox One, and I think people who have both are just going to be pleasantly surprised with the way they go with each other.
Well, I just opened up the store for Windows 10 because I do have Windows 10, and I'm actually looking at all the Halo stuff here, and really the legitimate Halo stuff you can do is Spartan Assault Lite, which, as we both know, is not the full game. It's like the demo type thing. But everything else you have to buy. But I swear I heard something about that. Maybe it was Minecraft or something. I don't know. But I knew it was a free game. But it was on the verge of us talking about Halo that made me think of that. But I guess I was wrong. Still would have been cool. But I thought I heard somewhere that was the full Halo game, not like a remastered version, but like, oh, by the way, you get Halo 3 for free if you own Windows 10 when it comes. I'm like, oh, cool. That sounds cool. Maybe it was just a stupid rumor that someone made because it's like, oh, Microsoft.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But moving forward with Xbox, Microsoft's doing this thing called Play Anywhere. Way that works is kind of similar to what you're talking about a little. So basically, what it works is if you buy a game for your Xbox One, and it's a Play Anywhere game, because only certain games will be Play Anywhere. That game, you will get basically a free version of that game on your PC. So like Forza Horizon 3 is their big one. You're gonna buy it for your Xbox One. and as long as you own it for your Xbox One, you'll be able to play it on your PC. They haven't directly talked how it's going to work just yet, but they basically stated that you're going to get a copy of it there, and as long as they can authenticate it to your console, you're going to get to play it on your PC. So that's the way that works. So that's, again, something really interesting, something to consider, that's just going to, again, blur that line more and more and just kind of merge the two together and be a seamless experience, I think.
Well, from what it sounds like, when we both know, Windows, Microsoft in this case, it's probably going to be linked to your Windows account. They're probably going to make you sign in with your Windows Live account, and the game is going to be attached to it. Like when you log into like Windows 10, Windows 8, you log in with your account, and same with the Xbox. You'll log into your Windows Live account or Windows or Microsoft account, whatever it is, and then boom, the license will transfer over because it recognizes you have a Windows 10 key that's in use, whatever. That's how I think they would do it. I mean, that makes the most legitimate sense to me, at least, instead of making it confusing. That sounds like something that Microsoft would do, and to make it easy and simple, would just link to your Microsoft account, because it's the same account you use everywhere else as far as Microsoft is. I mean,
Yeah, I think you're probably on the right trail there. Like I said, I don't have the details on it yet. I have to look into it more, but it's definitely just something to consider moving forward. So like I was saying there, guys, if you're interested in buying a console, definitely something to consider there. If you're in the community, feel free to send me a message. I will reply to you as soon as I get a chance. I do work quite a bit, but a lot of times I can start it on my phone and do some stuff. If you got questions about consoles or anything like that, just let me know. Post in the chat room. Post in the forums. Always happy to discuss about it. And if you know anybody who's looking to join up, send them our way.
yeah, I guess that goes the same with me. If you're interested in anything, joining or anything like that, I work the same hours Kurt does, so I'll be working at the same time he would. But I generally like to, kind of look at the forums while I'm at work anyway, because I work from home. So I get an email too. There's a lot of different notifications I get when someone messages me, so I'll definitely be able to respond within a very short amount of time. Well, any final thoughts on that, or just, buy console? Is that what you're saying? Go get console. There's a lot of good things for it.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm coming out here for, is just go buy a console. It's what I really want. It's an economic decision, 10-year lifespan. It's when you compare it to the price of upgrading your graphics card and how long that's going to last you, it's kind of hard to argue.
That's true. Yeah, I guess if you're a PC Master Race kind of guy, I would just say get over it. I mean, I kind of used to be like that, but then like I said, I got over it. Yeah, I'm like, oh wait, console's actually kind of pretty fun. There's a lot of cool features that I can do, stuff like that. So yeah, if you're ever like, I don't really feel like playing PC right now, well, you can always go play a new PlayStation, new Xbox, or Wii if you're into that thing, whatever it may be. All right, well, I think that does it for this episode of the TFG or Trinity Force Gaming podcast. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Kurt, will you be here next week? I mean, I'd love to have you again on here.
If everything works out, yeah, I think I'll definitely be here next week. I want to thank everybody for coming in. Like I said one more time there, if you're interested in consoles or anything like that, send a message to me on the community site or come in and post. We're also we're happy to talk with you. I'll also cover handheld gaming if anybody's interested in that. Send me a message. Love to talk to you about it.
All right, cool. And possibly next week we can try to get maybe another guest on there. It might be a secret, it might not. I don't know. I gotta talk to the person I'm trying to get. So maybe he'll join, maybe not. If so, it would be a game developer. That's all I'm gonna tell you. You guys, super excited. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend.